Hey, my name's Tyne-James Organ, and I'm here today chatting with Milky. Since the last time we sat down together, my artistry has developed quite a lot, more internally than externally. I've just felt a lot of matureness kind of come in my day-to-day life, which feels like it's also translated into my songwriting and just general approach to music. So album 2 for me is like chapter 2 of my life. It very much follows on from my first album, Necessary Evil. With this one, I definitely explored a lot more of myself and my outlook with family. And this one as well, I'm also wrote whilst being in a very happy and healthy relationship, which is a lot different to my first one. So I just wanted to explore a lot of where I was at in those times and looking back, a lot of reflection, but yeah, just generally kind of exploring. I didn't go in knowing what I was exactly going to write about when it came to each song. But then I guess over that time and exploring where I was at mentally throughout that journey and process, they just kind of fell out. And there's definitely times that I was apprehensive of certain lyrics and concepts that I was exploring, but I just felt, for me, I'm a one-man band, if you want to call it that. So I have to be real with myself and just kind of trust that getting these things out is important at the same time. I think there is mental health is a very important point of conversation that needs to be addressed in the broader spectrum there. So I just felt like, why not just be honest and just give it a crack. Sonically, this album, to develop it from the first, it took time because I had that moment in the early stages of this record of getting drawn to really trying to keep things tight to the first record and have that sound follow on. So expanding that, it took time, and it took moments of just kind of stepping out of my own comfort zone, which I think were really important. And just kind of, they helped create songs that are on this record that really now stand out because they are so different and they have such a fresh feel for me personally that I hope translates and people hear that kind of growth and change. Because I think, a new record, the second album, you want to hear something a little bit different at times too. So there are moments throughout that do show the kind of roots of me in that first album in there, but then changing things up at times too just felt like, cool, this is, different. It took time and just trusting the process. But I've worked with my long-term collaborator, co-writer and producer Chris Collins. He and I just in a studio together, we got that Lennon McCartney vibe, as cliche as that sounds. We get it in there. So it took time writing. The process of writing this record was probably nearly 2 years of just writing songs. And then I went up over the space of about 6 months for a little week kind of burst with Chris, just really trying to kind of get in and get the beds down as best we could and then just expand on them. My process changes literally song to song. Some songs I'll come in with a melody that just feels really something special about it. Sometimes there's chords behind that too. As I said, every time I just kind of come in to write a song, the process is different for me. And I just try and make the most of each burst of kind of joy that does kick something off like that and just follow that and see where it goes. I would definitely show them All on Me, One Way Ticket, and The Other Side. For me, this album, it's very overdue. I finished it in September of 2023, and it's now May of 2025. So it's been a long time of me having this record as a whole in my pocket. So I've listened to it too many times. I've had a big break from it though. But now finally having this time that it's out in the world and I've almost been able to just let go. And it's only early days of it being out, but I'm just excited to see, how people react and receive the songs that aren't singles. And because there's a lot of songs through this record that weren't in the catalogue of being singles, but they are some of the most important songs throughout this record. So I'm really just, excited and keen and nervous at the same time to see how people react to them. This tour, it's my first shows in nearly 2 years, so you're going to expect a lot of energy because I'm just being on stage is my home in terms of music. It's where I feel most safe and comfortable, and having, a whole new album to tour and play live for people is something that I'm just so excited to do. So I think energy, probably a lot of emotion, and just general ups and downs. It'll be a journey. It'll be a journey to say the least. But I'm really, really keen to engage with everyone face to face again, I think playing live is so important. I think I come from a generation that we started before social media was the platform. Building a profile, building a fan base all came down from playing live and how that was received. So to see the state of music and where it is right now in this post-COVID apocalyptic kind of weird world we now live in that's so digital, it's kind of scary. It saddens me in a lot of ways considering how smashed Australia's been with the loss of festivals. And I think festivals are really important for growing artists because it's hard to also get everyone there ready for gigs from the get-go. So I think it scares me, but it's also having the social media platforms we now have has also opened up a very international kind of level of building followings, having streaming so hectic, and you've got TikTok and all these, social media outlets that can expand careers quite quickly is also a really sick thing. So it's a very it's a tricky one to juggle and understand what's right. But I just think playing live and I always, if I like an artist and hear their record and I froth that's sick. But if I go see them live, that's when I become all right, I'm locked in. I am a massive fan and I will keep supporting their journey. So hopefully, bring back live music forever. My dad, he was a muso and he inspired the way I am on stage, my energy, my dancing. Lots of people think it's Mick Jagger energy, which it is Mick Jagger energy, but I'm pretty much emulating how my dad used to dance on stage. So he's my biggest influence in that regards. But then as a whole, I just grew up frothing Michael Jackson and Elvis as well. So they, for some reason, are just, since I was a tiny little bopper, they were always just there. I just would love to sit in a room with Paul McCartney and just pick his brain and try and write a song, but that'd be sick. I've got many albums that have had a massive impact on me, but I will, because that question would be very hard for me to answer, but I will go to my favorite album in the last year that had a humongous impact on me, and that was McGee's 2-Star and the Dream Police. That's just changed the game. That record it's soundscaped my whole 2024, and it's still soundscaping my 2025. Seeing him live last year was just the most surreal experience. And that record front to back, it slaps, but it's just so real and raw at the same time. So I love it. It'd probably be a Jim Carrey film, as weird as that is, and it probably would sound awful, but I just love him. I think doing something this is bizarre, but The Grinch, because that's my all-time favorite movie. And just I'd love to make the music that was through that and make it in my own way that somehow felt real but kind of funny at the same time. Generally, when I'm performing, I'm my heart. I really feel my heart, like not in a emotional way, but it just kind of, it pumps so hectically that I'm trying to make sure I'm not having a heart attack on stage. So that generally takes over a lot. And then I almost just get lost. Outside of that pulsating heart problem, I guess, I just concentrate on just letting go and just being present and just like connecting with people in this weird way through looking back and forth at each other, you know. So yeah, that's kind of my little weird thing. Hannah Montana. As a kid, I would sing, what song was it? I think it was When Doves Cry, but it was Guy Sebastian's version. I'm going to go and say it was McGee's. That was phenomenal. No one can play D&M, which is one of his songs, 6 times or however many times he played it in a gig and pull that off. But he could have done it 10 more times and I would have been very happy about that. A Spice Girl. Easy. Spicy Tyne. My dream is to headline my own show at the Enmore. The Enmore's just always been, growing up, you know, in New South Wales, the Enmore's the one. I've been very fortunate to play in there to packed out rooms multiple times, but see my name on that billboard out the front or whatever it's called and be in that room and have a gig there would be just bonkers. Karaoke as a singer, for me personally, is such a wig out because I'm like, do you sing properly or do you just muck around? So I just get too nervous and I always do Shania Twain, Man, I Feel Like a Woman. Splendor in the Grass 2019, I opened up a stage, the GW McLennan tent, I opened that, but Tones and I played at the amphitheatre just before and she just popped off with Dance Monkey. So she finished as I started and she drew one of like a record for the biggest crowd ever. So they all just came over the hill and then within the first 2 songs, my tent was just packed. So that was very surreal. But then in terms of headline shows, I headlined 170 Russell down in Melbourne back in 2022. And that was my biggest headline to date. And that was just like a very rewarding night. Like it just felt, whoa, you know what I mean? So yeah. Maybe Stevie Nicks cover one of mine. That'd be interesting. That's so good, but so hard. I mean, it's, you know, it's got to be the Beatles. It's got to be. They are that. Slow down, breathe, and just get through it.
So I would tell myself a year from now just to breathe. Breathe, breathe, breathe. I am one of the biggest stress heads, I don't know, I want to say in the world, but that's a big call. But yeah, just breathe, Tyne. And watch this video in a year and breathe.
Still trying. I have a book, but I think it's a bit dark. The Tattooist of Auschwitz. I love reading, but I'm a slow reader, and I read that book literally in 24 hours. I just couldn't put it down, and a beautiful, tragic read. It's a cliche one, but it's probably a family one. I would listen to What a Wonderful World by Louis Armstrong and just hug whoever I was with and que sera. Music means everything to me. It's, you know, it's in my blood. It just is me. Trying to understand that is just something I still try and work out on a day-to-day basis, but music, it's all I know. You know, I grew up and have now developed it into a career, and I think if the word music like left my brain, I don't know how I would still exist.